Rents are squeezing out smaller retailers. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I've got my lunchtime stein of coffee and I thought we'd have a look at this article from the ABC discussing retail rents and how they're squeezing out the smaller players. Now, jump over here. A few months ago in October last year I did a video just of Australia Fair Shopping Centre, just looking around at the state of the centre and how they had these type of just empty spaces everywhere. You know, kid spaces, relaxed spaces, even reading rooms at a shopping centre. And it was just interesting to see how this centre, and this is on a Sunday lunchtime, how it was dying and how a lot of the smaller retail shops have been pushed out. I've noticed it more and more just as I'm driving around Brisbane and suburbia. You know, up near us, you're driving, past this set of shops for lease. More and more we can see. So, and here, you can see, I'll link to this video if you haven't seen it. I suggest you check it out, guys, 'cause it's just interesting, a relaxing Sunday stroll and all of these like little ways of converting empty retail space into showrooms for homewares, for businesses that have gone bust, or the, kid spaces. So there definitely is an issue where, retail rents are really becoming a burden on smaller shops. Some of the bigger landlords are having a significant number of bankruptcies or leases. What is it, leases? Tenants, I'll just say tenants. Tenants going bankrupt, so their rental income is reducing. And as someone who has been in a commercial retail space, our last office was in a little shop in a retail space. It was funny because the paperwork that I needed to do there compared to going into a commercial space was just so onerous. They wanted me to get a lawyer to look at everything. They wanted me to get an accountant to look at everything, even though the rent was half of what I was paying in the previous place. I went from 40 grand a year down to 20 grand a year. And all this extra cost. I don't want to spend 5 grand in fees to make a saving. So, but the reason they have that is because of mummy and daddy going and investing their $500,000 in a franchise in a retail business, thinking it's easy money and lifestyle, and then go and bust and going on a current affair and whinging. Oh, I'm an adult that's been probably a government worker my whole life, made a fortune, and then lost it all because of my own stupid decisions and lack of business skills. So now the government needs to step in and add more regulation. So can you tell where my bias is, guys? So retail rents squeeze small store owners out of shopping centres, and this is a problem because this is the smaller retail. Retail is a big employer. You want diversity in your businesses. You want the smaller shops that give people opportunities to create employment. A lot of people receive their first job in a small retailer, their first experience, their first paycheck, and it's a big part of our economy. These are the novelty stores, the variety stores, that you go there for an anchor tenant to a shopping centre, and then you might pick something up there, and they're a local part of the community. Well, that's dying. So let's have a look here. Company reporting season is now well underway, and one thing we're learning is that owning a shopping mall is getting a lot tougher. How is this going to affect all of the real estate trusts listed on the stock market? I know some of you are talking about shorting them with regards to what's happening. Let me know if you're doing it and how you're doing it in the comments below, everyone. For example, GPT, which is centres such as the Rose Hill Market Town in northwest Sydney and Melbourne Central in the heart of Melbourne, saw income from its retail division flatline last year. It blamed this on fixed increases for existing tenants, not making up for empty stores staying vacant for longer between tenancies. As well, with sales growth almost non-existent, the proportion of rent tied to sales fell. This is the thing, when you're in retail, often you'll have to pay a share of your profit to them. Retail veteran Jacqueline Major, who owns swimwear store Oz Resort, had seen the good, the bad and the ugly of landlords in her 30 years in business. But she said Westfield Bondi Junction in Sydney's eastern suburbs nearly put her out of business. Well, I'm not surprised. Westfield was a 220 square metre store, Miss Major told the ABC. It was $1,000 a day rent, and we had 5 staff to run it each day, so it was a very expensive store. 300 grand, what? No, nearly 400 grand a year. Imagine, and then the staff on top of that. So just think about this, guys, of why is the online sector so competitive now? Look at these costs, but then again, how much online is coming in from China that's so expensive? How much of the stuff she's selling would come in from China? When she struggled to find the $1,000 a day, Jacqueline Major said Westfield's reaction was swift. They'll rip out your shop fit, she lamented. It doesn't matter how much it costs you, they put it in the dumpster, basically. Yeah, I mean, they're not friendly, are they? They're going to replace it with this type of thing. So, no retail revival on the horizon. Well, yes, it seems to be a daily thing. Someone said an hourly thing. But what goes around comes around. And now it's the landlords who have a problem. You've had a coalition victory and 3 rate cuts. And which have seen house prices improve, but we haven't seen that wealth effect translate into strong retail sales, and we don't think you will for a while yet, explained Sholto McNochie, who analyzes shopping centers for the US investment bank Jefferies. Well, I don't think you will. I don't think you will. I think people are waking up. I think this scares every one of us. This sharp cash rate drop scares every one of us. I was just on the phone to a client. I was talking to him about if the cash rate hits 0.5 and QE starts coming in, what's going to happen there? Even the biggest players are feeling the pinch. I think, is it 0.5 or 0.25 where we get QE? It doesn't matter, it's all so close. So even the biggest players are feeling the pinch. Scentre Group, the operators of Westfield, is Australia's premier retail landlord and saw operating income grow just 2% last year. It's not shooting the lights out, admitted Scentre Group CEO Peter Allen. But you've also got to recognise you're in a low inflation environment. Well, that's it. Scentre Group's earnings have been sustained by the traditional practice of landlords, automatic rent increases. This year it was 4%, well above sales growth. Yeah, see, that's the thing. They just keep increasing the rent. And you go, no, why? My revenue hasn't gone up that much. Inflation hasn't gone up that much. I can't charge that much. Provided that we have the demand for customers coming to our centres, we believe we will be able to have that growth in our contractual obligations, Mr. Allen said. It's important for us, and I think it's sustainable as far as the business is concerned. But does Mr. Allen remember the last recession that Australia had to have? Or the fact that we've got so many businesses that are in trouble right now? The fact that we're in the midst of a retail recession? So shopping centres lose market value. But a number of things are putting the brakes on income growth. The demise of so many fashion chains in recent times, the most recent of which is Jeans West, has many centres renting to a different type of tenant. More food and beverages, more services, so doctors, medical, government services, banks, where people want to be in the mall, not leave the mall, he observed. But there's a catch. These type of tenants typically don't pay the same rent as a fashion or apparel retailer, he had. In this strained economic times, landlords are being forced to offer discounts to persuade existing tenants to renew their leases or to get new tenants to sign up. We think those discounts will persist for some time until retail sales improve and retailers can pay more rent, he added. And that's reflected in the market's view of retail landlords. Scentre Group is trading lower today than it was 2 years ago. Another pure-play retail landlord, Vicinity, has also seen its share price fall in time. You can see, I mean, this is a... We can all relate to this, guys. Some of the viewers up north, Queensland, Cairns, Townsville, or Rocky, they're leaving in the comments, oh, I'm driving through town, empty, everywhere. Send me photos, guys, if you can. Maybe I should do it. If you know, just film a little bit. We should do a collage. The stock market represents investors' views of companies' future earnings, and Center Group's Peter Allen admits the current environment is putting a brake on earnings growth. As we curate the right mix, we're not necessarily going to get the same level of rent as what we've had from a previous retailer, and I don't necessarily expect that, he conceded. You don't pay rent in cyberspace. Well, you do actually. You have to pay for your domain. I think Heise.com, because I go with an Australian one, Australian host, probably like $500 every couple of years. I know I'm paying a premium for that, but I did go with the cheaper, like GoDaddy ones, and the service was terrible. So that's one actually where I'm paying a premium to have my data, my website hosted in Australia. There you go. Anyway, even in well-to-do areas such as Mossman on Sydney's lower North Shore, shops and their landlords are doing it tough. Mossman is one of Australia's wealthiest suburbs, but when the APC visited last week, we counted 14 shops for lease. Jeffrey Charlotto Maconchi said the problem is simple, or Jeffries. So the problem is simple. Rents are too high. Yeah, that's it. One proposal that a Greens councillor, we've got a Greens councillor in Brisbane. It's a bit embarrassing, guys. He's a bit of a fruitcake, to be honest. He's proposing, I think, a vacancy tax for tenancies. There you go. But this is the thing. It's going to harm the owners of these businesses, so they're going to be encouraged to get anyone they can in there. And then you're going to have businesses struggling that shouldn't be running, that can't afford it. It's a state intervention into the market. If these people want to leave their businesses empty rather than rent them out at a lower rate, it's their choice to do it. I understand. It's probably a sign of the times, though. They'll relent. Eventually, they'll relent. They won't keep them empty forever, guys. It'd be crazy to do it. The prices will slowly chip down. And then maybe they won't find anyone to go in them. It shows that the demand for tenants is weak, but the rent expectations of landlords are way above what tenants are prepared to pay. They need to meet somewhere in the middle. That will just take time. For Jacqueline Major at Oz Resort, paying $1,000 a day in rent is long gone. She's about to move out of her warehouse back into a store at a tenth of the rent she was paying at Westfield Bondi Junction. We found a landlord that wants to listen to us and give us a rent that we can achieve, and we can retail quite happily knowing we can pay the rent at the end of the day, Miss Major explained. But in another ominous sign for landlords, Oz Resort now does the bulk of its business online. And they don't pay rent in cyberspace, but they pay rent for their warehouse. So, come on, warehouse rent's cheaper. I know they're saying that just as a bit of a thing, and we have seen statistics where shopping is moving to online, but it's not as big as people realize. I think it comes back to just wage growth hasn't been that high, so that means there isn't that demand for workers in the industry, so there isn't that competition. Arrears growth is doing very badly, and job ads are down, and I'll bring up, unemployment, and I'll do a video on this later today. It's shot up, so it went down again, shot up, even though they're saying it's steady. No, not really. So people are worried, and that's probably being reflected in the discretionary spending that they're doing, and is showing why the wealth effect is having less impact now. Please let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, guys. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to help us a bit extra, there are a few ways you can. You can share the videos on social media, get the word out, help the channel grow. You can join the channel here on YouTube and get access to badges and emojis. You can support us using Patreon, where you make a small monthly donation. We have affiliate links with Amazon and eBay for all your consumer purchases, those online purchases that are killing the retail sector. You can use our referral links for Independent Reserve and Kucoin for your crypto trading. We also have affiliate links. We also have merch. Pocket squares, handmade, right here in this house by Rachel from the HeiseSays website, and PayPal if you want to support us this way. Thanks everyone, have a great day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.